Pterodactyl is a professional-grade server hosting software that allows you to host servers for pretty much any game, as long as they have a Pterodactyl egg. Out of the box, Pterodactyl includes a web-hosted panel, which allows you to manage various aspects of your servers while on the go from a mobile device or from your computer. This includes things such as the status of your physical machine, as well as the current resource usage of a containerized server. Please be aware that this is not a tutorial on how to set up a Pterodactyl on a physical machine, but I have included a video by two people who know much more than me in the description that shows you how I set up my server. So, without further ado, I will show you how I set up my first modded server on this server hosting platform. To preface this video, I am not a professional in any form or fashion, and if you're looking for something like that, then I would suggest looking elsewhere. However, you may be able to learn from some of the mistakes I made along the way. As you can see on screen, I first attempted to install it from source by installing the server zip and then uploading it to the server. To do this, I first set up a vanilla Forge server and then booted it, and then looked back at the dismal results. This would prove to be a much larger issue, but I knew at the time that this was going to take a lot longer than I had first envisioned, so I went ahead and added my friend so he could help me out. As it turns out, my friend was able to access the server panel perfectly fine, but I just could not. I could upload files, for some reason I'm still not sure about, so if you know, please let me know in the comments. But I figured I could just have my friend run the server and then upload the zip file and extract it, and that would be that, but that turned out to not work very well. I still had hope, however, and that's how I came up with my dumbest idea ever. So, you know those jokes where it's like better to invent something for 7 days than spend a day doing it? Well, what if you just spent 7 days using your head as a hammer? That's about what I did. Before I get into that debacle, however, let's take a look at my past self trying to set up secure file transfer protocol. Apparently it's pre-built into Pterodactyl. However, well, we'll see. Take it away, past me.
Oh wait, I think I have FST, or I think I have that set up. Wait. I know that was somewhere.
You certainly did think it was somewhere.
Yes, this.
And this is the point where his brain breaks, because the stupid gray button doesn't change its stupid gray color, so he doesn't believe that the button actually did anything. This step alone would have saved at least an hour.
Maybe I don't have this set up. Is that port 2020? It's never that easy.
And this is where the idea was born. Well, let's just listen in.
So, can I just upload these one by one? How big is this? Without having to mess with the file size.
So, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. How possibly long could it take to upload every single mod in Gregtech New Horizons in 100 megabyte size zip files? It couldn't take that long, right? So, since there's nothing more cathartic than emotionally scarring your past self, I will be narrating this clip in its entirety. Be aware, this is at 2000% speed and shows the mind of my past self trying to contemplate his life's decisions as he attempts to place every mod into a zip file and then upload it. Oh, there, look, there he goes. Is that a mods 5 folder I see? Look at creating more folders. Incredible. Look at him go. Look at the persistence. Ah, yes. And now he's moving them all individually from the folders that they came in up into the higher directory. All by hand. Look at each of those button presses. That was all done by hand. Oh, yes. An auto clicker wouldn't think of it. Nope. Every box must be checked by hand. Ah, and there it is. Following that squandering of my time here on this planet, I was still experiencing the same issue I was experiencing earlier, where I was unable to connect to the server panel, but I was able to view the server files. So I tried to figure out what was causing it. So apparently the issue was something called hairpin NAT, or rather my router's lack of support for hairpin NAT. Hairpin NAT, or loopback NAT, from my limited knowledge, is when a device on your local network tries to connect to another device on your local network via your router's public IP address. My router does not have support for hairpin NAT, and thus it gets confused whenever I try to send a packet from my computer to my server on my local network. To solve this, I connected to a mobile hotspot and sent my packets via that external address, which allowed it to function as expected, as you can see. I found a more permanent solution by connecting to a VPN, but I did not know this at this time, so this is kind of what I did for setting it up initially. Full of hope, I downloaded the client, launched the game, and then put in the server information. I even saw the little green bars that said it was connected in the corner. But when I went to join the game, it still didn't work. After a little bit more finagling, we were actually able to join the server, or at least my friend was, and I was able to connect to it, but it gave me some weird error. My friend says it actually turned into a vanilla server, so I'm not sure how that happened, which seems to be a theme of this video. But at that point, we were so confused that we figured we might as well just start over from scratch, because we do not know what file we changed or what file we moved to make it behave the way it's behaving right now. So we turned to other options. Compounding on top of this, I was using a DDNS server called NoIP, which basically allows any computers trying to connect to my server to know what my current public IP address is, because your ISP often likes to change that. The funny thing is that my computer was the one updating this DDNS server with my current public IP address. And whenever you connect that to your phone's mobile hotspot, the DDNS server now believes that your public IP address is your phone's IP address, which is wonderful and led to lots of fun for the next hour. We resolved the networking issue by basically just disabling the DDNS server and turning it into a variable that we can manually update. But we still had the larger problem of getting the actual Minecraft server to work, so we even stooped so low as to go onto the actual Gregtech Discord and hunt around, and obviously we did get a response, but it was worth a shot. What actually resolved our issue was when I remembered about a pterodactyl egg I found earlier. The reason why we didn't use this initially is because it was outdated and we wanted to play the latest version of Gregtech, so we didn't even think much of it. But this actually proved to be the key to our success in the end. Although none of us knew how to edit a pterodactyl file directly, we were able to still modify it to achieve our needs using a little known tool called ChatGPT. There's a lot of debate concerning ChatGPT on when you should use it and when it's better to just try to learn it yourself. But I feel like ChatGPT actually has come in handy a lot of times where I'm ready to give up because I have no idea what else to look up, and it's able to at least point me in the right direction. Or, in this case, we can just feed it the file and it returns a ready to go pterodactyl file for the latest version of Gregtech. I'll admit I was a little bit dubious about ChatGPT's auto-generated pterodactyl file, but after we loaded it in and it worked, I was starting to become a little bit more optimistic. Here's some of the server settings that we used initially to set up our server. If I'm going to let all this play out in case you want to copy any of these settings. I will note that I use 32 gigabytes of RAM, but you could probably get away with 16 or less. I only use 32 because I'm only running 2 servers concurrently on this machine, so I just split system resources in between the two evenly. That's also the reason why I gave it 400% CPU power, which equates to 4 physical cores. I also used different ports than the generic Minecraft ports, and this was because I figured even though security through obscurity is not the best strategy, it would still probably be better than nothing, given that I don't have a ton of security systems already set up since I was just getting this started. Finally, be sure to enable whitelist. I know I did not enable whitelist while I was starting this because frankly I did not care enough about this server. However, please enable whitelist because that'll prevent random people from joining your server. People actually do this via tools such as Oppenheimer, developed by the Fifth Column, which is a griefing group on 2BT2. It's a really interesting tool if you want to look more into it, but basically it scans every public IP address for Minecraft servers running on the default port or even other ports. So even if you're running it not on the default port, you're not necessarily safe. With that said, it all ended up working, and we got right into it. Finally, while this loads, I'm going to talk about some things I thought about while I was making this video. So, for instance, I would suggest to anybody with a reasonable budget actually undertake building something similar to this, because this was a really fun project and it allowed me to understand a lot more about networking, which I was not very great at starting this, but now I feel like I have a somewhat decent understanding of. I mean, not anything industry level or anything, but a good groundwork framework. The entire project only cost about $350, including all the hardware and upgraded RAM and such. If you were thinking about doing this, it is totally doable. You just got to sit down and get to it. It took me probably about 10, 11 hours to set this up, following that video tutorial I put in the comment section. But yeah, it's a great, fun project to work on. And now I have a functioning game server for pretty much any game that I want to host. So yeah, in the end, I really enjoyed this project, and I feel like it was a very fruitful endeavor. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for me. Here it is working with me being able to join for my client, and as you can see via Discord, my friend was able to join as well. With that said, if you want to see anything else, I have probably 6 hours of my start in Gregtech. If you want to see that, that would be cool. But I'm thinking about maybe doing my forge that I have in the backyard. I need to get that repaired, and perhaps the RC airplane that I have in my basement that I need to build out of Dollar Tree styrofoam paper. So if you want to see any of that, subscribe. If not, don't. I don't care. Bye. Have a great day.